first order of business is roll call.
Joliet,
Here.
Lubes,
Here.
Nelson, Taylor,
Here.
Hoffman is on his way, Spiz,
Present.
Gershenson is down the hall.
She was.
And Erickson Galt.
Here.
Are we starting?
Yep.
Yeah, we are starting. Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. I am excited. Your first meeting as chair.
Exciting. Okay. All right, next order of business is Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, approval of the minutes. Any corrections to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 14th, 2024.
Support.
Moved by Spiz, supported by Taylor. Any comments? Okay, do we usually do roll call vote?
All in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, wonderful. Okay, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Supported by Spiz, supported by, or moved by Spiz, supported by Lubes. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, agenda approved. All right, moving along. Wonderful. Okay, which brings us to our first public comment for items on the agenda. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to address us regarding items on the agenda? Seeing none, move on to item 7, communications.
I move to receive and file.
No support.
Moved by Spiz, supported by Joliet. We need a voice vote or
Your voice votes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So, we've moved and received communications, moving on to regular agenda. Okay, item number 8, regular agenda. First item, 8A, adopting amendments to Merit System Rule 20 and increase in annual education benefit. And,
Motion.
yes,
I make a motion.
oh, thank you, thank you. Moved by Lubes, seconded by Gershenson.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
So my name is Melva Allen and I work in Human Resources with our Learning and Development Unit. I'm a manager there. And so this morning I am seeking your approval to make some changes to Merit Rule 20. First and foremost, we are looking to increase the amount of disbursement that we currently give, which is $4,200. And the last time that was increased was October 2014. And the $5,250 is an amount that the IRS kept before they would tax an employee. And we want to do that because we would like to remove some of the barriers so that we can increase participation within this program. We want to support employees. We've heard from employees, they're looking to grow within the county, they're looking to have career coaching, and they want to be promoted within. And so we want to do our due diligence, similar to what Oakland 80 is doing, which the county is doing very well in supporting Oakland County residents in obtaining a post-secondary credential. So we want to do that by eliminating some barriers. So how the program currently works is that employees are allowed $1,400 per semester, no more than $4,200, or maxing out at $4,200 a year, and it only covers tuition. And since it's been a number of years since tuition has been increased, yet tuition at colleges continue to increase, we've seen a decrease in our participation. Therefore, we're proposing that we eliminate some of those barriers by allowing the students or allowing employees to just have $5,250 to use throughout the entire year, and that would cover books and fees as well as tuition. So that would give them some flexibility.
Well, when you're done.
Okay, and then we also like to have more flexibility in giving them an option to have an advancement versus reimbursement. We've worked with the schools, some of the schools that we're working with offer some discounts, but we do also recognize that not everyone can afford to even pay up front. So we're offering to pay up front as long as they bring back a reasonable grade. So we would pay their tuition up front, and they have to bring back a passing grade, so that ideally they technically would not have to come out of pocket outside of what the tuition does not cover. So I'll take any questions.
Thank you. I see you in the queue. I never use the queue, to be fair, so I'm not sure who
That's
came
fine.
first originally.
I will yield to.
I'll go with Commissioner Gershenson, but then you'll be right after.
Oh, thank you. Well, I love this. I think it's fantastic, since it's been 10 years since there's been any raise. Are there a lot of employees that have shown interest, or how many have used it in the last couple of years?
So there's been a little over 400 employees that have used it in the last couple of years. Currently, we have 103 employees that have or will receive reimbursement in this fiscal year, and last year it was like 117.
And I don't know if a lot of you remember, we had an amazing employee who wanted to advance and who should have advanced, but she didn't have some of the educational background that was required, so she moved on to another department. So I think this is a great idea. You mentioned you pay up front if they have a passing grade. What if they don't have a passing grade?
So we would note them, they would be done with the program. We would not continue to support them because we don't have measures in place to have them pay us back. And so then we would just not continue to support them.
Well, I think in such a competitive hiring situation that we find ourselves in, this is a great idea.
We have really been promoting WeNHR, this being a learning organization, and we have really been working very hard to just work with departments and employees on their professional development. We recently have a career coach who will be making his debut tomorrow at the Growth Fair. But he's been, I think he's seen maybe 20 employees so far. But we're really trying to do our due diligence in helping employees navigate through moving throughout the county and promote that this is a learning organization and that we are here to support your growth and elevation here at the county.
Great.
Commissioner Spitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Melvin, for coming in front of us today. Couple of questions. First one being, I understand the increase, but it's been 10 years, don't really necessarily have an issue with that. And I kind of understand where the number comes from based on IRS, but are there any other governmental entities that have used that same number or close to that? And what about the private sector?
Private sector, definitely. I've not seen any governmental agencies, but there are a number of private sectors that do that, and that strictly is to attract employees.
All right. So my big concern is the advancement, right? The reason we've always done reimbursement is because what you mentioned with the grades, they don't meet the grades, they don't get to reimburse for it. I've seen companies do it on a percentage, you get A, you get 100% B to C, D. They've done it that way, but I know here at the county we don't do that. But my big concern is advance. So why can't we do a clawback? Because I'd really hate, they reimburse you. Because I'd really hate to see them get kicked out of a program because of one class, right? If they really want to advance, and they're gonna try hard, but there's always that one time where you potentially
Well, how it's
have a
written,
different class, but without clawing it back, they're gonna be out of the program.
well, how it's written is that if they retake the class and pass, then they can continue on, but we're not gonna continue to pay if they're continuing to fail. So then they can put forth the effort to retake the class, and then we can continue to work with them.
At their
but
own cost.
Yeah, we just don't want it to be abused in that way.
And my other concern is what if we do an advancement and I leave the county?
That can happen now. You're always gonna have that potential.
Right, but if we do it now, it's reimbursable. They don't get paid for it because they've left.
Right.
Right, so they don't get the money. But if you do an advancement, you advance the money and then they leave, they can still take the class and never have to pay it back. I would expect that. I would hope that never happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen. So what is really the holdup of the clawback? I don't get it, because I know companies do it, they just garnish their wages.
I talked with corp counsel and I think it would involve like fiscal and I think there's a couple of different departments that would be involved and I don't know if they wanna get involved. But because we currently don't have it, we know that there's risk now because there's no strings attached. Like you can go through the program, get reimbursed and you can still leave, you can get your credentials. So there's nothing really tying them here outside of, we also are adding that component of, we're adding that career coaching, we're increasing our internal promotions. And so we want you to know there's opportunity here potentially, and if it's not, then, it might be somewhere else.
And I hear you there, I mean, because that can happen with any company that has a program such as this, they can leave. Some put in there that you have to stay for a year after,
Yeah.
some do that, when we don't have
I
that.
worked for an organization
Right,
like that.
some kind of doesn't happen, and I understand that, you can get a certain degree and you can leave, but I still have a big issue with the advanced part of it and not finding a way to get it back if they, one, fail. Retaking is good if they can have that as an option, but two, if they decide to go a completely different direction because maybe they didn't like the field they were choosing and decided because it was too difficult, they decided to go a different direction, but they just failed, now they can't go that other direction because we don't allow it if they don't retake the class. So personally, I'd like to see some additional wording in here, one for a clawback, and two, to allow them to go a different direction, right? Because if they have to take the same class, that kind of limits to what they can do. So that's just my thoughts.
Commissioner Juliet.
Thank you. So I do support encouraging employees to further their careers and themselves academically. My concerns are that of Commissioner Spiz's is that I know in the private sector, you invest in an employee and then they leave. And that a number of private sectors do have a 1 to 2 year stipulation that you have to stay, or if you go, it's paid back and it's paid back through garnishment of wages. So I'm all for increasing it and encouraging people to take advantage of it. But to protect, our taxpayers' dollars, I would like to have some wording in there. Yeah, additional wording, that there are some ties if we invest in you.
Is it? Okay. Oh, yes, Commissioner.
Sorry, I'm putting my HR hat on too, and I agree with what you're saying, and I have written that into the policy. I don't know what Oakland County's stance is, I'm new here. But I would think that that's something you would truly consider, and I think Corp Counsel would do that. Some of the concerns from what I was hearing from you might be with finance, because I believe the federal government said the year in which we pay it, they have to pay it back in that same year. So sometimes it's a taxing thing, but again, that's up here and Corp can tell you about it. But if you write it in and they sign it and agree to it, then that's what they have to adhere to. So that would be a concern as well. I'm totally in favor of this. We was one of the companies that did the 5250, always, and we totally encourage it. But when you said that they're out of the program, how long does that cover? Is it forever? They no longer could, they would, and that's where I'm saying, if they don't pay this money back and they're out of the program forever, how is that helping them to develop? There may be a reason why they didn't pass the class or something like that, so I think they're situational.
I mean, similar to reimbursement, if we would not reimburse you if you didn't pass the class. And you can certainly retake it yourself, but we would not, you would have to stay on track with your program or your course, then you would be responsible for making up that class. And then we could continue on, but we would not repay for the class or continue to pay for the class that you have to, retake once you fail it.
So if they never retake that class, never pay that back, they could never again get assistance. Because that's where I'm going.
Yeah,
So that's the way it would go.
yeah, because you're not showing that you're committed to, handling that responsibly. That makes sense.
Right, it does, but that's why I think the wording would come in, because that would give them an opportunity, in my mind, to either reimburse you or retake or something, but then they could get right back in and get back on their educational track. Again, I said situation, but I am in support of it, but I would like to see it.
Commissioner Taylor, are there specific changes you would make you are Oakland County. Their policy is whatever you'd like, well, all of us, but.
Oh, and I gotta get used to that, cause I'm used to sitting where she is and asking and doing the presentation. Yeah, I think we should definitely have a way of recouping the money. I really do. I think I had them sign it before they even took it. Because some situations you can't pay, especially if they're in the higher ed classes where there are thousands of dollars. We did pay that in advance, but we had them stay, they could not leave for at least a year, depending on, some of them we said 2 years, but. And then we said if you didn't get a certain, and we said what the passing grade, it had to be this or higher. We didn't, if it was lower than, if it was equivalent, that we didn't accept, we still didn't, even if you finished the class. If you got an E for failing or a D, we did not. So you still had to end up retaking it or paying for it. Just to show that we're just as invested in you as you are. If you don't show any interest in you, then.
Exactly. Yeah, how it's worded is, within 30 days after the end of the term, no additional advancement will be paid until the deductions have been processed or the student must retake or pass the failed classes before additional monies will be paid.
And my other question, you're paying directly to the college.
We're paying them to pay the
We never,
college.
we always paid the college, cause they had to bring the receipt, we had to show that they were signed up for that class. And I'm not saying I don't trust people, but we definitely paid the college. We did not,
Especially for advancement.
we did not give it to the employee because things happen. So that's something else I'd like for you to at least consider. And I know that is a county issue.
Commissioner Nelson, did I see your hand?
Thank you. Soaking it all in. I do everything that Commissioner Taylor and also Spiz and Juliet brought up, I do believe as well. I think it's amazing that we're offering this.
Yes.
But I also think that it's important that as we do move forward with now increasing, that we do put some language in there that we've talked about. I do have a couple questions outside of that. So I understand that this is just for tuition classes. Is there a reason why conferences and seminars are not included? Because I know somebody like myself, I might be advanced enough in a degree, right, from a master's, let's say, but I would like to continue to develop and grow, not necessarily from a college growth development perspective, but from seminars and conferences. What was the discussions behind not having that included?
We have a separate pot of money for that. It's called in-service funds. So there's a certain number of departments, we actually just give them they request a certain amount of money to pay for professional development. And for those departments that don't request the annual pot of money, they would come directly to HR and we would pay for those conferences and seminars directly.
I see. Okay, thank you. And the one last question is there any interest in doing an amendment?
Nothing's done until it's done. Are you done, Commissioner Nelson, and then I'll go?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Gershenson.
Well, along those lines, is this time sensitive? Okay, if it's not time sensitive, you've gotten a lot of input from this committee, why don't you go back and work, rather than us dictating, I'm a
Makes
big
sense.
advocate of us not, this is your policy, I mean, of course, we have to approve of it, but if you go back and work on some of the things you've heard, come back to us. And then we don't have a vote today.
Is it a motion or?
I'll make a motion to set aside.
Well, I'm gonna give my feedback first. I am very proud that we do this. I spend my whole life doing higher education and helping students get across. I'm heading up to Lansing. My boss is the chairwoman of higher education appropriations. So this is literally my bread and butter. I'm curious where that number came from too. BLS Simple CPI Inflation Calculator at August 2014, which I'm assuming is when FY20 or FY15 was set into policy, has that maximum being 55.36 right now. And this wouldn't even go into effect for a few more months. So I appreciate the inflation adjustment, but it is coming in under the CPI inflation for like right now. So if we're going to increase that maximum, which I do think we should because inflation exists. I'm curious why we're not just actually increasing it all the way. That's my first question.
I was not aware of that, if I can be completely transparent, so
Okay,
that's where the 52.
on the inflation note, I love pegging things to inflation. I don't like numbers in policy. I think numbers in statute are bad policy. So if we could peg something to inflation, that would make Brendan a very happy camper. Also, just huge kudos on transitioning from tuition only to cost of attendance. So many times it's that cost of attendance that is the main barrier to folks pursuing advanced credentials. It's those outside factors that actually make going back to school a worthwhile decision or not. So I love that. And that's my happy feedback. But no, I appreciate the candid conversation from everyone else, and I will entertain your
I
motion.
make a motion to set aside until, is the next meeting enough?
Sorry.
To a date, to a certain date.
Is the next, when's our next board?
July.
July what?
Probably the second week there.
July 9th.
So July 9th, is that enough time? July 9th? Yeah, okay. Move to set aside till July 9th.
Moving this aside to July 9th, seconded by Commissioner Erickson Galt. I'll do a roll call vote for that one, yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
So this is postponed.
To postpone till the next meeting. Lubes,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
you have 9 yeas, 0 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks to you, thank you for being willing to take our feedback and
Yes.
chew on it for a little bit longer.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You guys have a good one.
Thanks.
Moving on then, I would
Oh, go ahead.
entertain we don't have, that motion died, right? That first one, just thinking about it. Recommend to the board, that's dead. Okay. I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board, item B, Board of Commissioners supporting Protect Michigan Kids Tobacco legislation.
Which was the comment?
Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Lubes, would you like to speak to it?
At the Public Health and Safety Committee, we had a presentation by a group of adults and teens regarding tobacco use. And so this resolution supports and mirrors and mimics Senate bills to have more advertising and work with our younger population to stop tobacco use.
Thank you. Commissioner
It
Spence.
includes vaping, right?
Yes.
That's big.
Anyone else want to speak to it? I will say, I was texting Jeremy last night, and he said that they are cooking on the bills and they're not quite ready to be passed, but that they are good at what? That's what he said.
Just for these ones especially.
No, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here. I will say, this is one of those interesting, I don't know, I'm like a policy wonk. The Laboratory of Democracy is a really great asset that we have as a country that a lot of countries don't have, and different states get to do different policies different ways. And we've seen some stuff like this fail horribly. I don't know if y'all read the literature, but like some states have really gotten massive loopholes on this. So I think that fortunately we've got enough states under our belt that Michigan can do some sound policymaking. So that's my hope for this, but no other discussion?
We are in the minority regarding these types of bills in our United States. And the group that presented is very dedicated and goes around to many different areas. But what I remember is the vapes have different flavors that they advertise towards children.
Those were made illegal, that you couldn't do, that was juice, I remember 5 years ago, wasn't it? They pulled the one, you can't do flavors anymore. All you do is menthol. That was it.
That was Juul.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
That's another point too, because using Juul for an example, they said that their whole focus was to get people off cigarettes and that they were not promoting this product to younger kids, but if you looked at all their advertising, it did, that's all it did. I mean, they ended up eventually getting sued
Right.
and paid big judgments because they're hypocrites.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the research is interesting and like, did it actually work? Is menthol a turnoff? No is the answer. Like, is it actually the like reverse gateway? No. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway,
But they said that Juul was equivalent to like a pack of cigarettes a day and a
Yeah.
5% nicotine in
Oh,
it.
yeah, it was very.
Yeah, most vaping's that way.
What's that?
Most vaping is that way.
Yeah, it's terrible.
from what I hear, worse for your
Right, I don't have any
throat too,
bad
because it like
habits.
boils you from the inside out. And-
Talk about cooking.
Motion on the table is to recommend to the full board. I'll just do a voice vote for that one. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That's been recommended to the board. Thank you all very much. Oh, do we? Oh. Okay. Would you prompt the vote on that?
Gotta go back. Backsies.
Sorry.
Double ensure. Julia,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Christensen,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes,
Thank you. You have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Be on the board twice. We're going to do our
I know, sorry.
our favorite thing, friends. It's another round of materials management. Oh, no?
Land bank.
Not yet.
Oh, how did I miss that one?
Don't forget me.
It's about you.
All right then, that's just a discussion. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Sorry. So. Okay, I don't know, what is my action here? I don't have a motion, we just entered discussion.
Get two options.
Got it. Okay. Would you like to pop? It's weird, I don't have did you wanna just pop to the front of the
Yeah,
table? Guys, we have a appointment here, do you wanna just tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. Jill Robinson, Director for the Oakland County Land Bank Authority. And it's hard to believe it's been 2 years since we formed the Oakland County Land Bank Authority. We've accomplished a lot, we're in the process of doing a lot. The way we set it up is we stagger the appointments, so everybody was appointed at the same time. We had a 1 year was Martin Manna, 2 years was Kalfani Stevens from the city of Pontiac. You had Dennis Mitchell and Jeff Campbell with 3-year appointments, and then everybody will then, after they're reappointed, go on to 3-year appointments. So we're up with Kalfani Stevens, he's the deputy mayor of the city of Pontiac. He's been invaluable to our conversations. We do a lot of work in Pontiac, we own a lot of properties in Pontiac. We're right now doing 2 school demolitions. Historically, these schools have been a problem in the city of Pontiac. It's really interesting to follow kind of other schools in other cities and how they want to save them. The city of Pontiac has had a lot of trouble with vandalism, with all sorts of things. So McCarroll School is owned by the city of Pontiac. That will be demolished for the new recreation center eventually, probably within the next 2 years. And then Emerson School is another elementary school owned by Micah Six, who's renovating Webster School right now. They will eventually build new affordable housing. They're looking at something called a pocket neighborhood, which is houses surrounding the exterior of the property and then a central green space, smaller footprint houses, looking to move people from rental situations into home ownership. They're looking at a community land trust, which is a whole different model for housing, making it more affordable. We're working on 111 Oneida, which is Casa del Rey. I think a lot of you are familiar with that. That will be 50 units of affordable housing. Historically designated, beautiful apartment building. 111 Oneida is the address if you ever wanna go by. They have all of their funding. They're looking at closing on multiple streams of funding this month. Hope to have a groundbreaking like August, maybe early September on that one. And then working on something called the Exchange downtown Pontiac. That's at the north end of the loop. That is the Oakland Press Building and surrounding properties and lots and buildings. That'll be housing, commercial, and we're looking at a few other kind of really kind of creative, unique uses for that Oakland Press Building. And then lastly, we're working on a map of all of the publicly owned property, specifically in the city of Pontiac, which is where we own most of our property. So we're working with the city of Pontiac, the State Land Bank Authority, and us, because we all own lots of vacant land. How can we assemble all of that and make it available to developers that actually want to build something? So looking at doing a qualified developer pool, so we'll be able to look at assembled property, say, here's 20 lots, this is what we want built here, how can you do it, can you do it, what's the cost, and what will it look like? So it's an exciting time, there's a lot going on, and I think Kalfani is a critical piece to the Oakland County Land Bank Authority, and I know he would love to be reappointed, and we would love to have him.
Commissioner.
This is very exciting news. I feel like this is the first time we've gotten an update in a while. So
Maybe.
let me ask you, was it written into your approval that you come back to this committee to give updates? Cause if not,
No.
I think you need to do it like either twice a year. Cause I mean, it's been a long
Yeah.
time. I looked at it, I thought, oh my God, what have they done? I didn't even remember.
We went to somebody.
Yeah, so I wanna be sure you
Yeah,
hear
for
that,
sure.
that you need to come back
It
and
might be
report.
economic development.
Probably.
Okay.
We definitely went somewhere, we do our
We should all
annual
get the
report.
reports, we should all get.
Okay, annual, so then it
came
wouldn't be to
somewhere.
us, it would be to economic
I would
development.
so.
Okay, as long as you're doing it
Oh,
to
yeah,
someone,
for
and
sure.
so you do put in a report once a year?
Once a year, yep,
Okay,
yep. I'm happy to come back anytime. I think what we're doing is really exciting. So if you guys wanna have me here,
well,
but
if it's not this committee, I mean, I understand.
I do
as
remember
long
it
as
also in
you're-
EDI, but it also feels like it was 6 months ago. I mean, that was. How long ago? Not that it mattered, but I do remember it,
But aside from that, I think Kalfani is a gem, so I heartily support his reappointment.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Kalfani to the land bank.
Moved by Commissioner Spinner, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. I will not do a voice vote for that one. Would you prompt a vote?
Link on the summary sheet.
Yes.
Yes.
Wilson
Yes.
and Johnson.
Yes.
We have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome, thank you.
He's a good guy. Happy to have
He's a
him.
great guy.
Okay. That was that. Now moving on to our favorite part. Okay, we have 6 more interviews today. This is our last day of interviews. We've got Adam Christensen up at what?
This is our last round of. This is all gone so fast.
I know, no, it's only been 4 months.
There's the signatures.
Adam?
Yes.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing very well, doing very well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we've got just about 7 minutes. If you'll kick us off with some just brief introduction, give us your elevator pitch, why you want this position, and then we'll do some Q&A after that.
Okay, thanks for coming. Yeah, Adam Christensen, I've been in the trash hauling business my whole adult life, and before an adult, actually. I did apply and got selected for the last committee, but it kind of went defunct, never took off. I am in the process, I don't know if some of you heard anything, but I'm in the process of trying to open a transfer station in Waterford, and it's going through a little hiccup here. Has anybody heard about anything about that?
I have.
Two representatives from Waterford here,
Yeah,
haven't heard
where
anything,
we-
so
we-
it's,
We have,
oh, you have heard?
oh yeah,
Yeah, well, we're gonna be going to litigation, so I mean,
Right.
it's coming real soon. My attorneys were slow, should have already happened by now, but we went through the whole planning commission, got approved, actually was ready to start construction when we found out from the county that the county requires board of trustee to have a resolution signed. And the board of trustees elected not to do that. So that's where that stands, but beyond that, I've been in the roll-up dumpster business, like I said, for a long time. as has Bob, you have too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is your dad Pete?
Yeah, you know, didn't you buy a business off of him?
Yeah, when I was 23 years old.
When I was like 1. Yeah, I think I
Trash is my bread and butter.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah.
My family's been in it as long as,
I knew you were trashy, Bob.
So really just to get involved and just see where it leads. It's I find it interesting. It's all, like I said, it's all I've done.
Commissioner Spez.
Well, I'm gonna go a little bit different today.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you know about the new law that's put in place that has changed from what you were part of in the past and where we're going in the future?
Well, I don't know of the new law, actually. I think as far as I know, still things are still, are you talking about like the new management plan itself?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't even I don't know what changes have been made, honestly. I can't comment on that because I don't know which direction.
Fair.
I know I've been talking to Whitney Callio and Wendy, I can't pronounce her last name, from Eagle for the last several months about starting my new project, and everyone was nobody could really say anything because they didn't know. They're like, we don't know what's going on, we don't know what's happening, so I'm still kind of in that boat. I haven't read the new plan yet. I don't know the new laws.
Okay, so then my normal questions. What do you do outside of trash hauling? What do you do for fun? What's your hobby?
Not much. Work, unfortunately, besides work, I have 2 adult boys that I'm grooming to, one works for me now, and he's a really intelligent kid. Other than that, we just me and my wife, we built a new home about 3 years ago, and we built it so where that would be our oasis. Put a nice pool and hot tub in our backyard. It's just that's my favorite spot in the world. I go back there and I sit under my covered porch and I don't do anything. Other than that, we take our camper out about 3 times a year.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Do you see any opportunities to improve or create partnerships related to the Materials Management Board?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Any examples of partnerships?
Do you have any ideas that you would bring to the board that are opportunities to create partnerships with any?
I'm thinking of my new business here if that takes off. I'm kind of high on the recycling end as far as the C&D part of it. And let me rephrase the transfer station that I'm trying to build is just a C&D. It's not MSW. It's not compacted trash. So I think there's a large avenue for wood recycling, metals, concrete, a lot of stuff that, you know, when people think of recycling, they just think of curbside, residential. But really, there's a lot of industrial, commercial, and building wood, primarily wood. We can keep a lot of wood out of the landfill. I mean, if I can get with anybody that, you know, is interested in bringing more of that to us that we can separate, keep out of the landfill. But I haven't thought of any particular partnerships per se.
Thank you.
To that end though, how would you characterize a successful materials management plan and system?
Say that again, how would I what?
Just how would you characterize a successful, like blue sky, best case scenario materials management system?
I mean, I don't know if I have an answer to that other than just trying to keep, I think the name of the game is just trying to keep as much material out of the landfill as possible. Anything that can be diverted and used elsewhere. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
It does, yeah. Sweet me to the point. Any questions for us right now?
No.
As you may have heard, today is our last day of interviews, so we're hoping to, we've been doing this for 4 months. But we're hoping to get things wrapped up and we'll send a word out to you and everyone else in just, I guess very soon.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Enjoy this day.
It's gorgeous out, isn't it? Next, we've got Bill Whitley. Bill, hi. Come on up to the front of the table. thanks for coming in and apologies for being
Absolutely.
6 minutes late.
Problem.
You heard we've got 7 minutes, start with an elevator pitch, why you're interested in the spot, and then we'll do some Q&A.
Sure, thanks. Appreciate the opportunity today to be here. I own and operate Spurt Industries, a commercial composting site in Wixom, Michigan, private-public partnership with the city. We've been there since 2008 and I've owned the business since 2016. I'm also an equity partner in My Green Michigan, a food scraps hauling business that collects wasted food from restaurants, schools, corporate cafeterias, and hospitals. And we bring that food back to the composting site and keep that diverted from the landfill. In addition to operating those businesses, I'm also very involved at the state level through various nonprofits and committee work. I serve on the board of directors of the Michigan Recycling Coalition. I'm a member of the policy committee of the Michigan Recycling Coalition. I'm the president of the Compost Council of Michigan, treasurer of the Michigan Organics Committee, and I serve on the governor's Solid Waste and Sustainability Advisors Panel, and I've been there since 2017. So I've been intimately involved with this Part 115 rewrite since that time, reviewing the 220-page bill package since before it was introduced to the House the first time. And working with then DEQ and now EGLE to craft the law in a way that would best advance the environmental and economic interests of the state and the businesses and public operations. So we at Spurt collect or accept yard waste from 14 different curbside collected yard waste from 14 different Oakland County communities. And we collect food waste from almost every community in the county. So been working hard at this, like I said, since 2017 and eager to continue the work and get it actually implemented. So that's why I'm here.
Commissioner Christensen.
Sounds like your question's gonna be very relevant, Commissioner Spitz. But my question is, explain how you pick up scraps from restaurants, or could you just briefly explain that?
Yeah, so we have a couple of trucks that go out on the road every day. We use primarily 64-gallon roller carts like you might have at home for your trash or recycling, and we provide those to businesses, schools, restaurants, corporate cafeterias, hospitals. And we ask them, instead of putting their waste food in a bin that goes to the landfill, put your wasted food to us. So that could be an apple core, it could be vegetable trimmings, it could be the scrapings off the plate. At our commercial compost facility, we're able to accept all different types of food, not just fruits and vegetables, but also meat and bones. And so we're able to divert that and keep it out of the landfill. We also market and sell compostable products, so you can get looks like a trash bag liner, but it's made out of corn. It's made out of PLA plastic made from corn. So we sell compostable liners, plates, forks, cups, straws, so that all of your plateware can be composted, and that helps to increase the diversion of the food itself, which is really the part that we're interested in.
And that resale is available through My Green Michigan?
So My Green Michigan provides the sale and service of those products and the collection of the food. And then Spurt Industries is where we sell compost and then a variety of compost soil blends and planting mixes.
Where is it located? Where's My Green Michigan located? Where's Spurt located?
So Spurt is in Wixom.
All right, I'm sorry, you said that.
Yeah, we've got a public-private partnership with the city. We operate on 14 acres there. The My Green Michigan trucks that service Metro Detroit are dispatched from the Spurt yard in Wixom. I have partners in that business that are based in Lansing, and they cover the metro areas of Lansing, Jackson, Grand Rapids, and Kalamazoo. And we manage out of Wixom all the Metro Detroit and Metro Ann Arbor.
Great. Thank you.
Commissioner Spitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You answered my first question based on your integral part of writing the new, or input into the new law. Just two questions. First one is, do you consider yourself more of a waste hauler or a composter?
More of a composter.
Okay, because I see you put in for two different
I put
positions.
down for both. I know the committee has a certain number of spots to fill, and people are supposed to fit into certain categories, and with the breadth of what I do, I fit into a couple categories, and that's really more to, I applied for multiple to help you guys place people, because I can fit into different categories. So we're composters first.
Okay.
And we haul food because it helps us make better compost.
Fair. Now, more of a Question on a personal note, do you guys, do you guys get out to the Oxford area? Cause I know Wixom's completely on the other side of the county from Oxford, and you said you get into every different area.
So we aren't collecting any food there. We've delivered compost there.
Okay,
We're open to collecting
give me
there.
a card before you
Yeah,
leave.
absolutely.
We can talk some stuff.
Yep.
But, and then my regular question, we ask every candidate, or I ask every candidate, what do you do outside of composting and your day job? What do you do for fun?
Yeah, so I've two boys, 11, or 10 and 12, about to be 11, but 10 and 12. And so I like to spend a lot of time with them, get outdoors in the summer. We like to get out in the water, get on the lakes, and so that's where we like to spend our time the most.
Fair, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. We'll be wrapping up here in less than an hour, so hopefully we can let you know in just a little bit.
Yeah, sounds good.
very much.
Thank you very much.
I'd like one of your cards, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good morning. Next we've got Damani Head. Great.
Thank you very much.
All right, I do have one too. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good morning. We've got about 7 minutes here. Just start with an elevator pitch, why you're interested in the position, why you care about waste, and we'll do some Q&A.
Awesome. So my name is Dominic Head. I live in Pontiac, Michigan, and I moved to this region from Buffalo, New York in about 2007. I was drinking vitamin water, and my wife and I had just got married, and we're like, hey, we want to start a business. What would be a great business to start? And she's like, what about a recycled t-shirt? And I was like, a recycled t-shirt? Now, mind you, men and women never speak the same, so what she meant was slapping a recycled label on a t-shirt. What I heard was, how do we manufacture a recycled t-shirt, which is completely different. And so I did this deep dive into like, how do we recycle materials and why are materials recycled? And come to find out that the National Park Service wanted more recycled content in their stores, and they created an opportunity for recycled t-shirts to be one of the products. Today, we have a company called Reprieve that does recycled plastics. It's not my company, but it's a company that does that. And so we've seen a large escalation of taking recycled plastic bottles and making them into fabric. So the background of manufacturing, which is my background, I have a mechanical engineering degree. I started to look at what other opportunities there were and bumped into this thing called the circular economy. And so part of what we do today in the circular economy is provide reused components for white appliances as well as mechanical equipment. So we ship parts out of Oakland County all over the country and all over the world to families who need those different parts that are tested and validated.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Discussion, questions? Commissioner Spitz?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 2 questions. First one being, based on, what do you know about the new law that's out there? Have you had a chance to look at it?
So I know a little bit about it. I've been talking with Eagle and the MRC, but I don't know probably in depth as most people. But really, I think it's an opportunity for us to reevaluate how we deal with waste. I think that's consistent with what the circular economy is looking at. I think Oakland County is a very opportunistic area to do that because of the amount of material we bring into our community. And so how do we categorize and then make processes in our community to deal with those types of waste going forward?
Thank you.
Yeah.
The question I ask everybody is, what do you do for fun? What do you do outside of?
Cook. I cook, yeah. So in my downtime, my wife, that's why she married me, but she's like, you never cook for me anymore. I'm like, I'm working. She's like, okay, we gotta go on vacation so you can spend time cooking for me. So yeah. So I made Mother's Day brunch. So we made soft scrambled eggs, and then we made a charcuterie tray, and it was pretty good. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Nice.
Do you like to eat as much as
You can definitely cook
I
for us.
definitely like to eat as much. Yeah.
Favorite restaurant
Favorite restaurant?
in Metro Detroit?
In Metro Detroit? I like Selden Standard is good.
That's a classic.
But I recently went to Sullivan Stable and it was really good. Yeah, I like that. I had the rabbit, so.
Oh, very eclectic food, yeah.
Any other questions, comments? What's your best case scenario? What is how would you characterize an ideal materials management system?
I think, evaluating like all levels of communities, right? So I think one of the things we have a distinct opportunity to do is point in cases like copper and aluminum and like the battery recycling is huge right now, and really evaluating how Oakland County is positioned to deal with battery recycling. So I know I got like 4 or 5 batteries that I don't use anymore from my impact guns that I bought from Home Depot, right? Those are opportunities for us to like really look at like what materials are flowing into our community, and then how do we best empower our economy with those materials. I heard the last gentleman talking about composting, really great opportunities to look at composting not only at restaurants, but what about banquet centers? Pontiac has a large number of weddings that happen, and I think when you think about waste, those are opportunities. Pontiac also has a number of school districts within the city. So like those are really great opportunities to look at composting from that angle. So I think there's not just on the household side, but really looking at on the commercial, industrial sides of like where are the inputs and outputs of what we're trying to accomplish, and how do we best build processes around collecting those materials, but also making those materials more valuable coming out of our county.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Today's our last day of interviews, so
Okay.
we'll decide here in the next hour or so, and we'll let you know in a bit.
Okay, perfect.
Whatever that means.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Probably not as short as a bit infers, but soon.
Thank you.
After the 13th. So, oh, that's right. I always forget the full board has to wait. Full board. We've got 2. 3 more. Rachel Kriba? Rachel? Hi there. Rachel, how do you say your last name?
Grievous?
Grievous, Rachel Grievous. Yeah, just come join us at the table there.
That's the hot seat over there.
So we've got about 7 minutes. If you'll just start with an elevator pitch, a little bit about yourself, why you're interested in the position, and then we'll do some Q&A.
My name is Rachel Grievous. I am currently part of the Strategic Environmental Solutions Group at General Motors. I've worked at General Motors for 20 years, always in environmental. I have worked at various manufacturing facilities in Oakland County and around the Southeast Michigan area. Worked at stamping facilities, assembly facilities, proving grounds, you name it. So I have a very wide breadth of knowledge from a waste perspective and a materials management perspective from the manufacturing side. I currently am in a corporate role, and I support all of the sites that I had previously worked at from an environmental perspective. I also have a degree in sustainable management from the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. So I'm very passionate about ensuring that we're properly handling the materials that we generate to ensure they have a home instead of going directly into a landfill or being burned or incinerated. That creates pollution either now or in the future. So I want to make sure that we're trying to eliminate that pollution and make sure that we can use the materials. I'm sure somebody can use them in a beneficial way.
Thank you. Commissioner.
Well, that's great. It's comforting to know that in the corporate world, you actually consider where the product is eventually gonna end up.
Yes, at my company, we have a very robust system to ensure that we're actually, if we do have to dispose of the material, that we're disposing of it responsibly. We ensure that places that we're taking them are part of a, we're going and auditing these facilities, we're ensuring that they're complying with the environmental regulations and ensuring that they're doing what they say they're doing with the material.
So you have time for another, are you working full-time?
I do work full-time, yes.
So you have time for another ad hoc committee?
Yes, yep, this is something that I was passionate about. I asked people on, that I work for at General Motors, and they said absolutely we'd make time to ensure that you can support this effort.
Great.
Mr. Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a fellow Bulldog, I saw you with the Kettering.
That's right.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to look at the new law and read through the new law? And what are your thoughts on the new law?
are you specifically talking about, which law are you,
The new one that's creating this,
oh, is it the part 115? Is that the?
yes.
Yes. I believe there are some positives and negatives to it, right? But we all have to live with the regulation. I think if we can ensure that we work to follow that but follow it in a beneficial way for all of us, that we will benefit. So I don't know if I answered your question exactly, I'm sorry.
You did fine.
Okay.
My second and final question is, what do you do for fun? What do you do outside of General Motors?
I have 2 children, an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and we're very active with the school system. I'm also a Girl Scout troop leader. I love to get them involved in the environment. We camp a lot, we hike a lot, just teach them about nature, why it's important, why future generations, I'm very passionate about that, teaching them about why the environment matters, why we need to keep it clean for future generations, not just us, but people who haven't even been born yet.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Commissioner.
Just really quick, so you're active in the school board, which school district is that?
Oh, no, I'm not active in the school board, no, I'm sorry, but my kids go to Walled Lake, Consolidated Schools, Walled Lake, yes.
I will try not to let this go over my head. I'm 4th generation auto industry. My dad just retired after 35 years at GM. And my impression of everyone who's ever worked for a car company is that they are car nerds and has a favorite car. So what is your favorite car?
Wow, okay, currently I love the Cadillac Lyric.
The Lyric is a good answer. That's a sexy car.
I do very much love that one. The Corvette's always fun, but I can't actually get into a Corvette. Most people say a Corvette, but I'm really, I love that we are looking forward into the future and trying different modes of propulsion. So the EVs are there just like a stepping stone to even more things in the future, because we're working on our fuel cell technology, not me directly, but our company is. I'm just excited for the future of what transportation holds.
Awesome.
I'm also 4th generation, all General Motors. So.
Oh,
I'm only second generation, all General Motors.
My nephew is 5th, so it's funny.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else? No? We'll be wrapping up our interviews here in the next hour or so, and then we'll let everyone know after the 13th.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Thank you. Reminding me of that one too. We've got Larry Gray next. Larry Gray.
Supervisor Commerce Township.
Wasn't it?
Larry Gray.
Larry, hello.
Hey, good afternoon, how are you?
Great. Yeah, make yourself comfortable at the head of the table there. We'll start with just an elevator pitch, a little bit about why you're interested in the position, and then we'll do some Q&A.
I did bring some resumes. I didn't attach it with my original email going in. It's been a long time since I've been in an interview, so we'll see. But I'm Larry Gray. Currently, I'm supervisor for Commerce Township. My work history is I grew up in the medical field where I delivered medical equipment, worked my way up into sales, where my last position was with a company called Baxter Healthcare, which was a global company. I was in charge of the Northern Territory of Ohio, especially Cleveland, where I sold Sigma Spectrum Smart Infusion Systems. Those are infusion pumps that whenever you go into a hospital, you get an IV hooked up to you that it delivers fluid to you. And then in 2020, there was a reorganization, and I decided to run for a supervisor. During that time, I was also a paid-on-call firefighter for Commerce Township for 26 years. The reason I'm interested in being part of this group is I see the need to divert waste going into our landfills. Along with that, with the waste going into landfills, we are eliminating road traffic, we're eliminating wear and tear on roads, we're eliminating any hazards that are going into our atmosphere. One thing that we recently just did in Commerce is we opened up the second ListTech system in Michigan. If you're not familiar with what ListTech is that is a system that we put into our wastewater treatment plant. And now instead of taking 525 tons of dry cake, as they call it, to landfills, we are now turning that into Class A fertilizer for farms. So that was a $7 million project that we just completed, and it's currently up and running. If you ever like to visit it, I'll be more than happy to have you come on over. You know, it sounds really exciting going to a wastewater treatment plant, right?
We've done it.
Huh?
We've done that.
Yep. As well as small as it sounds, is one thing I started this year too, which I tagged on from White Lake, is we started a boat cover recycling program, which we sold a total of 65 bags, which reverted into 120 boat covers. Instead of going to landfills, they're now going to be recycled. So that's one thing that we started up. And I'd just like to participate, in this materials management with Oakland County. I've recently, I'm trying to extend myself a little bit. I've recently been elected to be an alternate for SEMCOG, and I also serve on the Michigan Township Association, the Oakland County Board. I serve as treasurer for them. So I'd just like to get more involved with that county.
Awesome, thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Commissioner Spitz?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Mr. Supervisor. Two questions. First one being, have you had a chance to read Act 115?
I did.
You have not yet?
No, I haven't.
I might recommend you take a look at it so you have a good understanding of what you are asking to be part of.
Okay.
And second, what do you do for fun? What do you do outside of supervising?
What do I do for fun? We like to go on our boat whenever we can. Typically, that's Fridays. I'm thinking I'm becoming an average golfer. So I picked, my wife and I picked that up a couple years ago. So we like to do that as well. I also like to spend time with my grandkids. So my wife and I, we have a mixed family. Between us, we have 5 children, 3 grandchildren, 1 grandchild on the way. Coming in September. We don't know if it's going to be Flynn or it's going to be Theo, so we don't know what name he's going to be, but that's going to be our first grandson. But we enjoy currently watch our granddaughter Josie every Friday, and we take her out to the golf course with us, or we take her on the boat with us, whatever we can do. Winter times aren't as fun. She likes to slide down that little hill we have in the backyard.
Let's make it fun.
Commissioner?
Well, it sounds like you are a real go-getter. You like to keep busy. I'm just curious, you went from the corporate world into running for supervisor. You know, this is a political body, so I mean, what was your thought process in doing that?
Well, so I always wanted to be on the township board. One thing though is being a paid on-call firefighter. If I was on the board, I wouldn't be able to do both because I would have, conflict of interest. So when the opportunity came up in 2020, I'm getting older. I had 26 years under my belt. I'm not 18 anymore. I decided to put my ring in the hat for the township supervisor, and that's why I moved that way. I love the township. I've been in the township for almost 40 years now. Moved out there when I was 15 years old, and I've seen it grow, and that's why I wanted to get into the political arena.
And I'm curious, when you say you recycled the boat tarps,
Correct.
What did they become? How?
So the actual, it's actually done by Michigan Coalition. They will take them up. I don't know what final products they come in, because that boat covering recycling is completely different than if you're sending in pop bottles and so forth like that. So what they come, I don't know exactly what they come in.
So you just have some sort of resource for people to drop theirs off if they have holes or they ripped or they need to be replaced.
Right, so I seen the need because, with a boat, I take my cover every year and it's like, what do you do with it? They won't recycle it, so you can't put it in the recycling, so you have to throw it into your trash can, and then that goes to the waste. So, talking with White Lake, they mentioned to me that they do this program, and I said, I think that's something great that we should start.
Good
So hopefully,
idea.
hopefully it picks up and continues to grow.
Good idea, you've got lots of lakes.
We do, yes, we do. There's Commerce Lakes, Harlow Lakes, Commerce Township, Harlow Lakes. That's our slogan.
Do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite lake? Well, I'm gonna say my favorite lake is Proud Lake, because that's a lake I go on quite a bit. Less congestion, a lot of more kayakers, and when I say my wife and I go out on the boat, we're not out zipping around. We go out, we anchor, we disconnect, and we talk to each other.
Unique concept, right?
These days, yes. Any other questions, comments? No? I'll say this is our final day of interviews, so we'll aim to have everything done and decided here within the next hour, and we'll let everyone know in mid-month.
Okay, great. Would you like a copy of my resume to this?
Sure.
I didn't know how many people were here, so I think I made 5 or 6 of them, so.
We'll share them.
Do you want to put them down there?
Sure.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Lots of resume. And we've got one more, Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith, is that? Daniel Smith. Make yourself comfortable at the head of the table. Welcome, welcome. We've got about 7 minutes here. You'll start with an elevator pitch about yourself, a little bit about why you're interested in the position, and then we'll do some Q&A.
Okay. About myself, I'm Dan Smith. I live in Troy. Chief Strategy Officer of the Three Dimensional Services Group. Three Dimensional Services Group is headquartered in Rochester Hills. We also have facilities in Lapeer County as well. We're the world's largest and most agile prototype and low volume manufacturer. So we make a tremendous amount of parts for automotive applications as well as aerospace applications. We cut and manufacture a tremendous amount of parts out of aluminum and steel, and we contract with outside vendors to dispose of that. The reason I'm here today is because I'm pretty involved with Oakland Schools, Manufacturing Day, and things of that nature. And I am apparently the only person in manufacturing that your people know. So I've been asked to fill this role on behalf of manufacturers here in the county.
All right.
That's my pitch.
Well, thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Spiz.
A few questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
First one, have you had a chance to read Act 115?
No.
Okay, highly recommend you read it to understand what you're looking to be part of.
Okay.
Because that's what sets up this new organization or new group. Second question, are you familiar with Project Diamond?
Yes.
Are you guys a member of Project Diamond? Or
Yes.
You guys participate? Okay. Thought so, because I'm familiar with 3D through my day job as an engineer, so in the auto industry. So I believe you still did 3D printing. Third question, what do you do for fun? What do you do outside of this?
Oh man, fun. I coach soccer. I take my kids to Taekwondo. I wonder what we're gonna have for dinner.
Gotcha.
I don't cook and I don't have time to do much outside of that, the work and my kids.
Did you play soccer growing up?
No, I know nothing about soccer, and it's been a interesting learning experience all the way around.
Any questions for us?
But I will attack this job with the same enthusiasm that I will my soccer career with. I know nothing, but I'm willing to learn and I can pick it up quickly.
I appreciate it. Well, this is our last round of interviews, so we'll be done after this, and then we'll let everyone know in the middle of the month.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
So Spiz, does that mean you went to University of Wisconsin at Green Bay?
No, I went to Kettering.
Oh,
She had her undergrad at Kettering.
Okay.
Thoughts on not recessing, going at ease for 5 to 10 minutes so everyone can get their shit together? That's the correct way that I will refrain. That's thoughts?
I'm for that.
Yeah, Commissioner?
I'm okay with recessing, I guess, but a bigger question is, do we have to make decisions on all these today? Some of them I think are relatively easy. With one, we had 1 or 2 candidates, but some of them we had 4 or 5. Personally, I like more time to go through them all, because I think it's truly unfair to the ones that were first compared to who did it today, because these are gonna be fresh in our minds.
Right.
I don't think it's fair to them personally. So if we can appoint
The easy
I'm gonna call them the easy ones today. And if necessary, can we have a special meeting before the board meeting to finalize maybe, if time is of the
I think
essence?
it's a morning board meeting.
I'm okay with
Maybe
that.
after.
We can meet at 6 AM.
Okay.
The traffic won't be there at 6 AM, so.
I'm just throwing that out, so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Commissioner Senegal.
I was just gonna suggest, let's, unless there's an objection, can we just appoint the ones for which we only had 1 applicant? Just get that out of the way, and then we'll talk about
what we wanna do next?
Yeah.
Sure, we
Yeah,
can do
that would work, good.
Can we do it in one motion? Cause I'm happy to make that motion to appoint.
We can't do all of them in one fell swoop,
Oh, yeah,
but we
that's right,
can do
'cause
one
we
at
have
a
to
time.
keep track of it for, yeah, got it. For the, if you say your motion that way, I think you can do one motion.
Oh, really?
Vote on, since there's no competition with those, I think.
Right.
Cause I count 5 unopposed candidates.
Word it well,
Looks like you're a
word it well.
You're okay. So there's 1, 2,
These, yeah, the 5 ones right here.
1, 2, 3,
Recovery.
5.
Right.
There's 5,
Yeah.
right? Now I've got 5.
2,
Yeah, there's 5.
3.
I got 4.
So yeah, you can
Fine,
state
okay.
all those.
Got 1,
Specify that.
2.
Alright, if you can, yeah, go for
Yes,
it.
I'm gonna give it a whirl. I would move to appoint county elected official, our own Commissioner Hoffman, for township elected official, Supervisor Gray, for material recovery facility operator, Mike, I don't know how to pronounce that one. Sabo,
But also some cog or something.
Oh, sorry, I overlooked, for SEMCOG representative, that's Rachel Barlock, and then for waste diversion, reuse, or reduction facility operator, Daniel Todd.
Motion.
I'll support.
Thank you very much, Secretary Biz. The motion on the table is what that was. Let's do a prompting of the vote for that.
Congratulations, Bob.
Hey, thanks, it was a tough campaign. All your bipartisan support.
It was a hard
Nelson?
decision.
Yes. Gershenson?
Yes.
We have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thanks, everyone.
Good, that makes it.
Alright, what do you wanna do next? I feel like there is a path to get it done today, if we take some time to get our shit together. But I'm also fine not to do everything today. So what does everyone want to do?
Our next committee's at 10:30, so why don't we give it 15 minutes, give it our best shot?
There you go.
Pardon me?
I can talk to
What are the other ones?
There you go. These are the 5.
Let's go at these for 5 at least. Everyone,
Oh, well,
This
here's,
one right
here,
here.
if you wanna put their names down. So, right there's waste diversion.
grab Ann and Bob.
Maybe just do like a tally. If, you know, I don't know. If we wanna, well, that's what I'm curious, can we?
Can they do that? Open Meetings Act stuff, can we do that?
Oh, he's gonna need to redo the meeting back.
No, I mean, even in the open, could you do a tally or it's gotta be open?
Well, I'm saying we can discuss it and then tally to see where the numbers fall with the members. Does that make sense?
Well, if she comes back, that would be great, but.
Hoffman,
Present.
Spiz,
Here.
Gershenson. Here. Johnson.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Pursuant to Robert's Rules 12-107C, once we achieve a majority of the votes for the candidate, our voting for that round of candidates is completed for that category and we'll move on to the next category, regardless of any remaining names. Let's start with the category of city or village elected official. We have 2 applicants. I would entertain a motion to recommend one of the 2 candidates. Commissioner Spiz.
Make a motion to recommend Rosalind Grafstein.
Rosalind's been moved. Any other nominees? Commissioner Loops.
I would recommend Amanda Herzog.
Great. We will entertain.
Yeah, there's only
Yeah,
Those are the two.
Okay.
I mean, I'll entertain more nominations because I have to, but
No,
no,
that's
okay.
good.
Seeing 2 nominations, I will oh, is there a second for Rosalind?
I'll second it.
You'll second it? Is there a second for Amanda?
I'll second.
Oh, you only second one at a time? I know we vote on more than at a time. Even after you take them.
I feel like I forgot to have anything else. That's usually a fun thing for me on Sundays. I mean, like,
I guess I interpreted this as take all the nominations first and then do,
then entertain a motion.
then entertain a motion one
Once
at a
there's a
time.
majority for a candidate,
Got it.
then you have that
Well, then you're just
category
done.
filled.
Right. Okay. So we'll be voting on Rosalind Grafstein first. Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote on the appointment of Rosalind Grafstein? If there is a majority, we're done. If there isn't a majority, we do the other vote. That's how this works. That's how this works.
Is this Rosalind first? I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Yep, this is just Rosalind.
No. Taylor? No.
We have 4 yeas and 5 nays.
That motion does not pass, so would you prompt the vote on Amanda Herzog? Oh, sorry, it was moved by Commissioner Lubes, it was seconded by Commissioner Taylor, Gershenson?
Either one.
Faulty memory.
I can't remember Morgan's class size, Lisa's class size was like 4 or 16. And they built that field house, so it pretty much housed everybody, and then they had extra seating in the auditorium.
That appointment passes. Let's just see what happens. Next is the category of operator of a business that generates a managed material. We have 2 applicants. I would entertain discussion I would entertain a motion to recommend one of the 2 candidates.
They are, just their names.
Oh gosh,
We interviewed
Daniel
both today.
Smith and Rachel Rivas.
thank you.
One more time.
Daniel Smith and Rachel Rivas. Rivas, sorry.
We did both of them today.
We did both of them today.
Okay. Regis was GM.
Are there nominations? Commissioner Nelson.
I'd like to nominate Rachel Barlock.
Rivas.
Wait a minute, huh? Well, are we on 4 or 5?
5.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rachel Grievous.
Okay,
Thank you.
Big circle.
I will second.
Supports.
and that's been seconded. So now we just do this one. Okay. Okay, we'll get the hang of it. Would you please prompt the vote on the nomination of Rachel Rivas? If this one fails, we take another nomination, yes. I don't know, y'all, this is just like the clunkiest Parley Pro in my mind.
We're gonna get this done.
Yeah.
Okay, 9 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion passes.
These are the tough ones now.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the email Pam sent yesterday? It's got their pictures and everything, so you can remember.
It was a very good email.
It was great. I'm looking at it right now again, because it really helps me.
The next category is for environmental interest group representative. We had 5 applicants. I can name each applicant. Oh boy, that's asking a lot of me, Pam. Hold on just a second. They were /are Sarah Cavada, Tina Catron, Jean Gramlich, Julia Johnson, and Damani Head. I would open the floor for discussion or a motion to recommend one of the 5 candidates, Commissioner.
I nominate Julie Johnson.
Julia.
Julia Johnson, okay.
Julia.
Johnson.
I'll support that.
Supported. We will vote on.
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment?
Please.
So I just want to say, I agree with the motion of Julia Johnson, but I do want to say the individuals who interviewed from the environmental interest group were amazing.
Yes, they were.
This was a difficult decision, going back from day one of interviewing. I thought that all the individuals who applied for the environmental interest group came to the table with a lot of valuable information, interest, and passion. But I just wanted to acknowledge that this was a tricky one because of the number of candidates that really did meet a lot of the descriptions of the characteristics that we would have liked to have seen.
100%. No, and I'm glad that you brought that up because on my little, I just joked that it was like Sudoku. I've got 3 people that I can't decide between, and it's like, it's a really great problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Commissioner Hoffman.
Yeah, I like Julie because, I mean, they were all, like you said, very good candidates, but she seemed like a ball of fire. She was, seemed very creative and progressive in that position. And I just think she'd be good. I support her despite the fact she owns a horse.
Agreed, and her background is amazing. And one of the things that just stood out for me is that she truly practices what she's preaching. And that's really important to have that integrity behind sitting on any committee.
Any other discussion? There's a motion on the table. Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote on the nomination of Julia Johnson?
Eight yeas, 1 nay.
8 yeas, 1 nay, that passes.
She just needed to say.
The next category is for solid waste disposal facility operator. We had 3 applicants, Skylar Butza, John Kendall, and David Rogers. I would entertain a motion or discussion for the 3 candidates. I will nominate Skylar Butza.
I'll support that. That's who I had done. Yeah, she's.
Who did you nominate? I'm sorry.
Skylar.
Oh, okay.
Any discussion?
I know I really liked her. She was young and energetic, and I think she could bring some fresh perspectives.
I liked her for the same reasons, she's getting her PhD, and I think that's always a great thing. Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote on that nomination?
You have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Wow, y'all. All right, we might actually get this done today. And then our next category is waste hauler. We had 5 applicants for this category. They are John Kendall, Skylar Butza, Bill Whitley, Bernard Gill, and Adam Christensen. I would entertain a motion to recommend, or I would entertain nominees or discussion. Commissioner.
I nominate Adam Christensen, and I'll tell you why. He's a small operator. His dad started the business. He's like a small fish in a big pond. And you learn to survive, you learn to adapt, because not only are you competing with all the big waste haulers, you have to dump at their landfills, because I'm in the same boat he's in. So you figure out what you have to do, you find out what your niche is, and you pursue it. And the thing is, he's evolved from what his dad started. You know, they had a residential pickup and front load garbage routes, and then they evolved into the roll-off business. But now he's even taking a step further and wants to open maybe a transfer recycling facility. So he's in there competing with the big guys, and I give him a lot of credit because it's a tough business to be in.
I'll support.
Supported, Commissioner.
So does anybody else have a recommendation from the ones in the past other than Christensen?
I was gonna nominate Bernard Gill. And I see what you're saying, Bob. My concern is there was some things happening in Waterford with him right now that are slightly questionable. And he didn't really seem to know what was going on with the Materials Management Board or have any, when I asked him like what opportunities or collaborations, he mentioned his own business that he's trying to open. So that is my concern, that to have somebody with a broader perspective maybe than what they're currently working on.
Any discussion? Commissioner, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna second Commissioner Joliet's nomination.
Yeah.
And I think he's a nice kid, or guy, man, and a hard worker, It's just, there's some challenges going on.
Yeah, but I think he knows, like all of us in that industry, that you have to divert materials out of the landfill, and that's what he's evolved into. And the thing is, and I don't think you paid a lot of attention to this lately, some of the landfills around here, and there aren't many. There's 2 in Oakland County, and like Oakland Heights up there next to the Palace, they're to the point, they're almost full. So then you have Eagle Valley, a mile away. And what are we gonna do in this county? Ship it, I don't know, there's gonna have to be a push to build another landfill or something, because you can't recycle everything, but I think we're moving in the right direction with a lot of stuff that's been done over the last 30, 40 years.
Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bob, I don't disagree with the information you shared. However, there are some questions in regards to pursuing litigation right now. And just really not knowing where that process is leading is a little worrisome. But I do think that Bernard Gill may be the best.
Commissioner Erickson Gold.
No, I making a weird gesture.
Thank you. I'm gonna, for the second time, cut this. My 2 cents, I happen to really enjoy Bernard's application and interview with us, and I think that he'd be a great personality to have. There is a nominee, 2 nominees. We'll take the first one, which is Christensen. Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote on the nomination of
Various boards.
Adam Christensen. It did not for me, no.
I like my job. It's not 2 yeas, 7 nays.
That motion fails. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote on the nomination of Bernard Gill. So was a second for that?
But I'm still
Yes.
gonna find something else to do. I wasn't gonna
Right.
but this June would give me my 30 years and I was gonna leave because I'd had enough. I like my job. I don't want it.
Oh, that passes unanimously. Thanks a bunch, everyone.
Tired and like, I don't believe that for 1 second.
And then lastly is the category of composting or anaerobic digester facility operator. We had 3 applicants, Bill Whitley, Sarah Cavada, and Martin Chirlick. I would entertain nominees or discussion. Commissioner Nelson.
I'd like to nominate Bill Whitley.
I support.
I'm sorry.
Any other
I
discussion?
think he has some really great background. I love the fact that he serves on the Governor's Waste Management Advisory Council. I think that that's a really great and important piece to have, especially as we move forward with
End of June,
this committee.
all of July.
100% agree. Any other nominations?
I was just gonna say, I'll support him as well. I appreciated you asking the question about part 115, and he was one of our people
Monday through
who
Sunday.
understood it well. And I think that is important.
Some 12 hours, some 16
Any
hours.
discussions? All right, Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote on the nomination of Bill Whitley to that composting position. Y'all, dare I say.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Oh, our job is complete,
Good job, team.
almost, public comment, right?
Right, but this was the big lift. I appreciate everyone and all of your patience and persistence in going through that together. Thanks a bunch. But that went really
I
well.
wanna thank Pam for helping us
Yes.
organize this and
Yeah,
our
thanks
chair
Pam,
for
Tracy.
and also our chair for keeping it moving and
I try. I try. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you, commissioners.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yay. I feel really good about that. It was such a big project. All right, anyone from the public wishing to address us on anything under the sun? No? All right. Any other business? Anyone have any fun Memorial Day stories they want to share with the class?
Oh, you
No.
girl.
With that, I will adjourn this meeting at 10:42.
Me.